everyone, and welcome to our webinar in partnership with Getac. My name's Neil Perry and I'm Managing Editor for Sustainability Magazine. Now, today's session is called Rugged Technology for Sustainability is the Next Net Zero Frontier. So let's go into that a little bit first. In 2024, all companies in whatever sector you care to mention are making positive steps to make their businesses more sustainable. That can be because of company values, customer expectations, or transformative regulations like the EU's Corporate Sustainability Reporting Directive and the Global Plastics Treaty. E-waste is a huge part of that, as we all know. But how exactly can the tech we use really and genuinely last? Today, we're looking at rugged technology. It's the kind of tech that can cope with really genuinely challenging conditions and real-world treatment. So, how does that fit in to your tech ecosystems and sustainable thinking? So much to get through. So let me introduce some real expertise that I have on hand today to take us through things. First of all, it's a great pleasure for me to introduce Chi-Wei Wang, Product Manager at Getac. Hi, Chi-Wei.
Hello, Neil. Hello, nice to meet you today.
Yeah, great to see you. And also with us, Peter Chu, who serves as General Manager at Greemas. Hi, Peter.
Hello, Neil. Nice to meet you today.
Absolutely great to see you. Thanks so much for joining us. Right, a huge amount for us to get through. So the way we're going to be running things is we all have a short presentation to do at the start, which really helps set the scene of our conversation today. I'll start things off today. I'm the host. I'll have that privilege about how things have changed. How do organizations now genuinely perceive ESG? What are the current trends and challenges for businesses today when it comes to ESG? Well, I have the privilege and pleasure of speaking to literally hundreds of sustainability and supply chain procurement professionals every year, both in our day-to-day work at Sustainability Magazine and at our live event series, where I'm often having discussions with such professionals on stage. So what I'm going to be taking is through some of those key trends and key discussions and talking points. So let's look at some of the key sustainability challenges that are facing businesses at the moment. And I do think that helps frame a lot of our conversation. So to start with, supply chain sustainability. Every conversation I tend to have with sustainability professionals, this is really the watermark that is running through a lot of sustainability strategies, really ensuring that sustainability throughout the supply chain is adhered to, because it's absolutely crucial, addressing issues like unethical behavior practices, deforestation, environmental degradation. All of these things are really coming into that supply chain. Also, regulatory compliance and reporting. I can almost see a few knowing nods from the audience there. This is something everyone is having to consider and worry about. Businesses are really needing to stay on top of so many environmental and social regulations, as well as accurately reporting their sustainability performance to stakeholders. One thing I do want to get into a little bit later on is how we can stay ahead of such compliance and really be at the leading edge and the bleeding edge of sustainability performance. Next, circular economy adoption. Now, this is obviously one of the areas that everyone is really wanting to get into. This is something they're wanting to achieve if they're not already. And that's making sure they've got a genuinely sustainable circular economy to make sure that their resources are reused, recycled, repurposed to help minimize waste and maximize resource efficiency. Again, definitely something that comes into the conversation when we're talking about rugged technology. Next up, climate change mitigation. It's one of the huge reasons why we're doing this and why we're discussing this today. Climate change, businesses are reducing their greenhouse gas emissions and adapting to the impacts of climate change, things like extreme weather events and shifting market dynamics. It's the real motivation behind and underpinning sustainability strategies. And of course, finally, going through these challenges, resource depletion. There are finite amounts of everything. If you're using raw materials, you are depleting resources. So sustainable resource management involves minimizing waste, promoting recycling, and finding alternative materials, of course, to reduce the dependency on those finite resources. So those are 5 bullet points that I like to round things up to when it comes to actual discussions I have with sustainability professionals about the kind of issues that they're dealing with on a day-to-day basis. So moving on to key ESG challenges. This widens things a little bit further. But again, these are the key themes that we tend to be seeing when I'm having the conversations with sustainability professionals. So climate action and carbon neutrality. Businesses we all know, are under real pressure to set genuinely ambitious carbon reduction targets, to transition to renewable energy sources and invest in carbon offsetting initiatives too. The number of sustainability strategies that cross my desk on a weekly basis, you can pretty much guarantee most of them look the same. There's always a field of corn somewhere in there, and definitely one or two wind turbines, but it's making sure that they actually are ambitious and they can genuinely look to meet some of these targets, whatever the time frame that's been adopted here. Looking at diversity, equity and inclusion, businesses, of course, focusing on diversifying their workforce, ensuring equitable opportunities for employees and addressing systemic biases to create more inclusive workplaces. That's something that's crucial through all of these strategies and regularly comes up in conversations. Supply chain transparency and ethical sourcing. Now, this is a huge one because the golden goose, the holy grail, whatever you want to call it, is having that genuine transparency through a supply chain to make sure that you are meeting these sustainability targets. Because if you can't see it, you can't fix it, and you can't optimize what your processes are. So that's something that is always coming up. Stakeholder engagement and accountability. Now, whenever I'm talking to chief sustainability officers, chief procurement officers sometimes as well, what they're trying to work out is how they can make sure they have the genuine engagement from their supply chains and are genuinely accountable as well for the goods and services they're providing within the sustainability strategy. If I had a pound or a dollar for every time I've heard a chief sustainability officer discuss getting that kind of engagement from their stakeholders, they know what they want within their strategies. They know what's included in their codes of conduct, but it's making sure their whole supply chain and all their procurement partners genuinely fit in with those. And finally, as I've said before, circular economy and sustainable innovation, it's really embracing those kind of principles to make sure businesses are exploring all the opportunities available to reduce waste and promote resource efficiency. And finally, what I alluded to at the start, staying at the cutting edge of sustainability. This is really where the conversation for me is moving into when I'm talking to sustainability leaders. And that's, they're wanting to move away from thinking, right, well, we've ticked that box, we're doing enough here. Sustainability, we're compliant. That's good enough. But is being compliant good enough? The theme I'm really wanting to get into in today's discussions is how we can push past that, how people can find the smaller or the more ingenious ways of actually making sure they're reaching and surpassing their sustainability targets and finding every opportunity and marginal gain to improve sustainable performance. You may have an organization that is chewing through their technology. They don't have things that are up to standard, and they may well have considered of really finding rugged technology as a way of increasing their sustainability performance. So those are some of the key topics, themes that I'm seeing constantly across the industry when I'm dealing with chief sustainability officers. Hope that sets things up to you well. So I will now pass on to Chi-Wei, who wants to discuss why rugged technology is the next net zero frontier. So Chi-Wei, I will pass on to you.
Thank you, Neil. So for the information on the latest ESG trends, it's clear that sustainability is a top priority for businesses today. And now I'd like to expand a little bit more on how rugged technology can be a powerful tool for businesses on their plans toward a more sustainable future. Rugged technology isn't just about having tough devices. It also offers some great environmental benefits as well. So what's the deal with rugged tech? You can think of consumer-graded devices as fancy cars, great for cruising around town, but not for off-roading. Rugged tech is built tough, like a monster truck, to handle the bumps and bruises of harsh environments. Imagine working in a mine, like there's dust, explosive atmosphere, high pressure. You need a device that won't explode or get clogged up. Same goes for busy workplaces like car factories, where drops, knocks, and shocks are everyday events. Rugged tech can take it all in stride and keep things running smoothly. But that's not all. Rugged devices are also brainiacs with super fast processors like 5G connection, so you can stay connected and share information wherever you are. Plus, security is top-notch with biometrics identifications like fingerprint readers and Windows Hello, or you can even add on a smart card reader to keep your data safe. And to make things even better, if you integrate rugged tech with AI-driven solutions, we can provide you a product to fulfill all your needs and help you work smarter. So here at Getac, we're all about providing these rugged heroes, laptops, tablets, body cameras, and even software and video solutions. No matter the job, no matter how tough the conditions, our tech helps frontline workers get their job done. We're a global company you can find in over 100 countries, helping people in all sorts of fields, from firefighters to car mechanics, from all workers to truck drivers. Basically, we want to give you the whole package: devices, softwares, accessories, and expert help. We can tackle any IT challenges together and keep you ahead of the game, so you can focus on what really matters. Aside from all those, we care about the planet too. So these days, everyone's looking to be more eco-friendly, and businesses are no exception. Here's a few globally recognized standards that I would like to mention. So first off is TCO certified, which is established by the Swedish Confederation of Professional Employees, ensuring that computer products meet ecological and ergonomic standards, safeguarding the user's long-term health. With TCO certifications, buyers know what they're choosing: a product that's good for both the environment and their employees. The second one would be Energy Star. A product must meet strict energy efficiency criteria set by the US Environment Protection Agency to claim that it's Energy Star certified. Products with Energy Star uses less energy without sacrificing their product performance, saving you money and helping the planet at the same time. One last notable certification would be EPEAT, the Electronic Product Environmental Assessment Tool. This eco-label for electronics has certain scopes overlapping with TCO, and similarly it empowers businesses and consumers to make informed choices when it comes to electronic products, assessing product impacts from extraction to disposal. But even with those mentioned environmental certifications, it can still be tricky to choose the right product. And this is where rugged technology shines. So a few reasons why would be: the first one, durability and longevity. This certainly matters. Rugged tech is built to last in tough conditions. Compared to consumer-graded devices, it needs replacing much less often. This means less electronic waste ending up in landfills. It's like you're buying a pair of boots that you can wear for ages instead of those flimsy flip-flops. And next one would be energy efficiency. Rugged tech is designed to be energy efficient, optimizing battery power life and reducing overall power consumption, saving you money on electricity bills and reducing your company's carbon footprint. And last one would be that rugged techs are sustainable from the core. At Getac, we use recycled materials whenever possible and avoid harmful chemicals in our products. We reduce our products' packaging materials to minimize environmental impact as well. So when it comes to the perspective of a TCO certified assessment, rugged tech clearly stands out. It's a smart investment for businesses that want to be sustainable while having powerful tech that lasts. So, in short, businesses are going green and rugged tech is a perfect fit. It's tough, eco-friendly, and saves you money. Plus, with environmental certifications, you can be confident that you're making a smart choice for the planet. If you want to learn more about eco-friendly rugged tech, we welcome you to scan the QR code shown here and follow us on our Getac website and LinkedIn, where we share all the latest green tips and industry insights. Okay, next we're excited to have Peter from Greemas join us. He'll be diving deeper into using sustainable materials from the get-go. Thank you all.
Thank you, Jiwei, for the insightful sharing on how rugged tech can navigate the journey towards greener tomorrow. Also, thank you, Neil, for a comprehensive overview of the current business ESG landscape. While you all both mentioned an important point for business to factor in sustainability from the very beginning, building on this notion, I'd like to delve deeper into the transformative potential of green materials and how they can prepare us towards a more sustainable future. Okay. Let me begin by providing a brief introduction to Greemas. Founded in Taiwan, a hub known for its dynamic chemical and tech industries, Greemas specializes in eco-friendly materials. We offer professional technical services in material application, process design, and forming technology. Our innovative green materials are efficient, safe, and reliable, catering to various applications across electronic devices, servers, routers, and more. At Greemas, we focus on eco-friendly material products, dedicating ourselves to researching and enhancing the characteristics of these materials. Our aim is to expand the utilization of eco-friendly materials, thereby reducing carbon emission and promoting the return of products to nature, thus contributing to environmental conservation efforts. By substituting numerous traditional plastic products, Greemas not only prioritize environmental protection, but also emphasizes safety and health in everyday usage. We provide outstanding product design solutions for manufacturers seeking high quality, environmentally friendly products. At Greemas, we specialize in PCR, which stands for post-consumer recycled materials. These are materials that have been utilized by consumers, recycled, and then transformed into new materials by manufacturing purposes. PCR materials plays a crucial role in waste reduction by repurposing products that have completed their initial usage life. They have integral to sustainable manufacturing practices and contribute significantly to environmental preservation by lessening the demand for virgin materials and minimizing landfill waste. For instance, we engage in the collection and the sorting of various waste materials such as plastic bottles and CDs. These items are proposed into our green PCR material, known as Getac resin. This resin can be incorporated into various end products, including laptops, TVs, routers, and more. So let's step into a crucial question. What is the environmental impact of PCR materials, especially in today's business landscape? Plastics play an indispensable role in our daily lives. However, the World Economic Forum reports that roughly 8% of annual global oil consumption is linked to plastic production. If the reliance on single-use plastics continues unchecked, this figure could skyrocket to 20% of all oil consumption by 2050. At Greemas, we are committed to alleviating the mounting environmental challenges through innovation, through a primary focus on advancing PCR materials. According to a calculation result, recycled PC, here stands for polycarbonate, emits only about 1/5 of the carbon compared to virgin PC production, resulting in an impressive 80% decrease in carbon emissions, thanks to energy efficient processes. This significant reduction stems from the streamlined journey of recycled PC, which involves transportation, sorting, cleaning, drying, and granulation, as opposite to the energy-intensive processes required for extracting, transporting, refining, and synthesizing virgin PC raw materials. Additionally, incorporating post-consumer recycled materials promotes a circular economy, reducing waste disposal and aligning with ESG goals and the regulatory standards. Hence, in line with today's focus on rugged technology, we'd like to discuss the adoption of PCR materials in rugged tech and its implications for sustainability. As a subsidiary of Getac, we collaborate closely to integrate more environmentally friendly materials into rugged devices. Our collective goal is to establish a sustainable cycle where the manufacturing, use, and recycling of these devices are environmentally conscious and have minimal impact on the environment. Greemas specializes in developing PCR formulation tailored to various sustainability needs, providing adaptable solutions to support business. Our regular sourcing practices ensure the effectiveness of sustainability efforts from the outset. Our UL 2809 recycled content validation certified Getac green materials undergo thorough testing and adhere to an ISO certified quality assurance system. They demonstrate exceptional impact resistance, thermal stability, and flame retardancy. This opens up new applications opportunities beyond consumer product adoption, allowing a wide range of industries to utilize these green materials that meet their specific requirements. Consequently, by leveraging certified PCR materials solutions, business can ensure adherence to regulations with confidence. while also seamlessly monitoring their eco-friendly endeavors to enhance performance outcomes. In conclusion, PCR materials offer significant environmental benefits and support a circular economy. At Greemas, we are dedicated to advancing PCR materials, ensuring sustainability in rugged technology and beyond. Our formulations and certified green materials provide effective solutions for diverse industries, and we look forward to join hands with the industry and work together toward a greener, more sustainable future.
Okay, Peter, Chiwei, thank you very much indeed. I think those three presentations very much sort of dovetailed into each other, showing how the wider ESG and sustainability narrative is very much supported by things that we're talking about today when it comes to rugged tech and some of that fascinating technology you were talking about there, Peter, as well. So let's move into the panel discussion now. There's an awful lot for us all to cover off here. And where I wanted to start is the innovations there have been in sustainable rugged technology. It looks absolutely fascinating. I'm sure there's plenty of developments that have happened that most people wouldn't be aware of, and also in what ways they can reduce carbon footprints. Chiwei, I'll start with you. You are the expert on this in terms of the development. What's been going on? What kind of developments have there been and innovations?
Right, so as previously mentioned, rugged techs are built to last and reduce carbon footprints. So at Getac, all our models are certified by Energy Star, and 13 of our models sold in 2022 have a power consumption lower than the standard value by 4.96 kilowatt hours per year. With some calculations, this would be equivalent to reducing 360 metric tons of carbon dioxide emission a year. And also, we're constantly evolving our designs to meet global ESG requirements. So, for example, we've been kicking in USB-C charging ports. As some might know, that by the end of 2024, all mobile phones, tablets, and cameras sold in the EU will have to be equipped with a USB-C charging port. And this will extend to laptops by 2026. So the new obligation will help EU consumers save up to 250 million euro a year and reduce 11,000 tons of e-waste annually. And as previously mentioned, we've also been working on PCR materials for our devices, and including our newly launched Getac 80. This reduces energy consumption and greenhouse gas emissions associated with traditional manufacturing processes.
They're all fantastic examples. Peter, I guess where you come in there is where recycled plastic having that smaller carbon footprint. How significant is that?
Yeah, recycled plastic has a smaller carbon footprint than traditional plastic. In fact, currently less than 10% of plastic waste is recycled per year. The vast majority of plastic waste generated is either landfilled or incinerated, emitting harmful pollutants, and they can take up to 500 years to decompose. From a Greemas perspective, we see that modern business can discerning in their selection of technology devices. They prioritize not only the functionality of the product, but also its manufacturing process and end-of-life disposal. By integrating green materials like PCR into rugged devices, businesses can notably decrease the carbon emission by 81%. While the price of carbon emissions in emissions traditional trading system or through carbon taxes might increase considerably in the future, every action taken to reduce carbon emission offers direct cost-saving possibilities.
So I guess having this kind of material used in rugged devices, I guess that shows how rugged it itself is, how strong it can be, how durable it can be. I guess if it can be used in this kind of environment, in these extreme environments, it shows how resilient it can be. Absolutely. Okay, well, I want to cover off some points on this as well, because what we always have to remember is where the vast majority of greenhouse emissions actually come from when it comes to devices, and that's the production. It's not the transport, it's not the customer use, it's definitely from production. The location of manufacture as well, when we're looking at a lot of consumer devices, where in the world have they been made, and also where has the energy come from to actually produce those devices on those locations? Has it come, is that energy that's been used in production, is that sustainable? Has that come from fossil fuels? What's that power station like that's been powering it? And also just staying with rugged tech, it reduces that cycle of disposable technology. And Chiwei, I wanted to come back to you on that kind of thing. What kind of life cycle in comparison do you see from, say, a consumer device compared to a rugged device in terms of how resilient it is and how much damage and abuse it can take? I suppose that's the word.
Right. So, yeah, most people might not think of rugged devices as eco-friendly, but believe it or not, rugged technology is a secret weapon for sustainability. So here's a couple of examples that I would like to share where our models have been helping out at different corporations. So, for example, our previous model X500 has been helping researchers at the National Marine Mammal Foundation, so where they can get out there and study the environment. And with our X500's ruggedness and waterproof ability, it can withstand harsh marine environments such as wind, sand, salt, and rain by the beach. So allowing the research team to study animals in their natural habitat. X500 can also provide them with expansions for their PCIe data acquisition card, leading to more accurate data collection and a deeper understanding of how to promote a sustainable ocean environment. So another example is that a truck training center in Italy, where digital truck alignments are carried out at their workshops. This is a crucial part of automotive maintenance as trucks run long routes at pretty tough environments, meaning high fuel consumption and worn tires. And this is where our S410 provides a solution, as it can ensure easy operations on the shop floor thanks to its tolerance of grease, oil, and extreme temperature. With the help of S410, our customer could perform analysis, diagnostics, truck repairs, and correct alignment at their workshop, keeping drivers safe and at the same time saving fuel and reducing harmful dust from worn tires. So next time you see a rugged tablet or laptop, remember it's not just tough, it's helping us protect the planet too.
That's a good way to look at things, and just looking at the wide variety of uses. There are so many really. Warehouses, supply chain, inventory management, emergency services. That's absolutely crucial. Is public safety, healthcare, energy, oil, gas, utilities, and of course defence uses as well. All absolutely crucial uses for them. Just before we move back to you, Peter. Chiwei, one thing I'd love to find out more about is how these devices are actually tested, the amount of sort of abuse that they're put through to make sure they're up to standard. Could you give us any insight on that? I find that fascinating.
Well, basically, for rugged technology, like for rugged devices, actually, you can see on the spec even that these models are actually passing military standard 810H. So a lot of tests is put them through, like either testing it at salt fog, at sand and dust conditions, and like extreme temperatures, sometimes exceeding 63 degrees Celsius or way under, all the way down to minus 29 Celsius as well. And you can see that our devices are going through drop tests as high as 6 feet drop tests as well. And with all that tested, our rugged laptops and tablets can still work. So that's some of them, the stress tests that all our models and devices will have to go through.
That's fascinating. That was something I definitely wanted to talk to you about because I personally find that absolutely fascinating. Peter, if we can come to you next. We want to talk more about management seeing an ROI on their green tech investment. What can you add on that?
Yeah, to add on Chiwei's theory, I want to emphasize that by adopting rugged tech with green materials, business ensures that sustainability is factored in from the start. Management can see the better ROI on green tech investment and track carbon emission as enhanced results. We have also observed an increasing demand from our clients to elevate their PCR percentage from the current range of 10 to 20% to 30 to 50%. Our projections indicate a forthcoming surge in requirements, potentially reaching 60 to 80% PCR content. This shift underscores the discernible green impact of these materials.
We'll look to the future next, if we can. And Peter, if I can stay with you, are we just looking at the tip of the iceberg in the potential for rugged tech? Where do you see the future industry trends?
we anticipate a growing industry emphasis on elevated standards and quality in green materials. At Greemas, our permanent focus lies in advancing the development of green materials to optimize performance and cost effectiveness, all while ensuring reliability in demanding conditions such as drops, shocks, vibrations, and other environmental exposures. So in addition, we integrate green energy sources such as wind or solar power into our manufacturing process for green materials. This holistic approach ensures environmentally conscious production practices, minimize our environmental footprint.
Where I'd want to go with this next, and I know from the conversations I have with sustainability and supply chain professionals, logistics professionals, is the things they're looking at is the increased durability. I know, Chiwei, you were talking about a lot of those sort of issues about how they have better durability, increased resilience to those sort of conditions. Longer battery life, you were referring to that earlier, having that security in genuinely extreme conditions. It's no understatement to say sometimes this tech is being used in genuinely life and death scenarios, and that's not being over dramatic. And of course, environmental sustainability, that's crucial too. That industry-wide drive to make parts recyclable and repairable rather than disposable. I think that's a real industry trend that's starting to emerge, where people are making sure that as much of their technology can be used again or repurposed in some ways if it's up to standard. Chiwei, I'll come back to you on this though. Are we just at the tip of the iceberg? What's the future? What are the future trends?
So looking ahead, the future of rugged technology isn't just about strength. We've been talking about this whole session as well. It's about going green. So we're committed here at Getac to exceeding environmental regulations by prioritizing the use of recyclable materials throughout a device's life cycles. Building rugged devices with recycled plastics, metals, or other components sourced from post-industrial waste streams. This will reduce our reliance on virgin materials, minimizing our environmental footprint while promoting a circular economy, like what you've mentioned before as well. So where resources are reused and waste is reduced. So with this motivation of greener rugged tech, our research and development teams are constantly searching for new sustainable materials. And that's a future we can all be really excited about.
Absolutely. Well, we've covered a great deal here, and we are nearly up to time. So just to cover off the key points that we've really been discussing here, we've been looking at how some of the main priorities that sustainability professionals are challenged with at the moment and the solutions they're looking to find. We've looked at how rugged tech fits into that. We've been looking at the advancement of recyclable materials as well, and how that can be used in that kind of technology. And also, as we were just saying there, just looking to the future about the future developments in this area of the industry and how they can feed in to sustainability strategies across the board. Well, we've covered a tremendous amount of ground. So Chiwei, Peter, thank you so much for joining us today. Really enjoyed your company. Thank you very much indeed. Thanks to our speakers and to you for watching. Have a very good day.